Hello again, this is Better Nature, and I'm going to do another little video on volcano mulching, which you guys have heard me talk about quite a bit. Hopefully I will not expose the identity of the place that I'm at, because I know the man who is doing the maintenance is a terrific guy who loves trees. Which brings me to, why do we do volcano mulching? So volcano mulching is, I think, something that's been around for a few decades, and so we're sort of habituated to it. That includes we being landscape managers, landscapers, and property owners. It is fundamentally bad for the health of the tree. It causes, because of problems with gas exchange, I'm going to try to stay out of the science vocab as much as I can. Text me if I go into it too much so I can practice developing a new habit. Anyway, it alters the gas exchange, and so it causes roots to start to literally girdle or circle around the main axis of the trunk. And so that root girdling is just like if I were to put a girdle on my thigh and I would cinch it bit by bit, tighter and tighter. I'm going to reduce the lymph flow and the blood flow in my system, and that is going to cause me damage to that leg and associated tissues. And same thing with roots. So if we are girdling around that main stem, we are causing a reduction in water and nutrient flow from the roots to the canopy and back from the canopy down to the roots. That means we have to do things like either go in and do root surgery, literally there's something called root surgery, or we have to do things like increase our fertilizer application. And because we reduce the health of the tree's ability to have a strong immune response has also been compromised. And so that means we're likely to increase our application of pesticides and fungicides. And that means we increase costs. But it also means other things directly and indirectly in terms of the health of our communities, as well as the health of the tree. Now, urban trees tend to live much shorter lives than they would in a forest habitat because of so many challenges from the urban setting. So if we're decreasing the vitality of that tree, we're decreasing its lifespan, that increases our costs as a larger community, as well as individual homeowners or property owners. All right, so I'm going to show you some of the damage it's done. So if you look here, you'll see some slight girdling right around there, okay? And we'll often see a straight down. This going right down instead of producing a nice flare here is an indication that there's girdling below the soil line. All right, hopefully I pointed that out correctly. I guess I'll get a chance to correct. All right, so if you have that girdling, what you're doing is, like I said, reducing the plant's ability to access nutrients, utilize nutrients well, efficiently, and also decreasing its defense response. All right, so if we increase pesticide and fungicide applications, I'm not sure everyone's aware of this, but that can have direct and indirect consequences in terms of our recycling of water supplies in cities, as well as just a direct contact or even contact by breathing in some of these. So for example, a lot of our insecticides are based on endocrine receptor disruption. And that's essentially stopping the insects from being able to reproduce, which is one reason why the abundance of insects has dropped so dramatically globally. In science, there's this phenomena called highly conserved. And basically what it means is that some metabolic pathway or some function that an organism has, like humans, is so well functioning, it functions so well that when it first arises from an evolutionary perspective eons ago, it continues to be present in a diverse array of species because it just works really well. So a lot of those endocrine systems that are, or metabolic pathways that are evident in insects, are actually also utilized by humans. Just like our defense systems relying on antioxidants, well, that's what plants rely on as well, as production of antioxidants. So these are highly conserved systems. So if we are using endocrine receptor disruptors as insecticides to treat the plants, that has been demonstrated to be affecting human populations, especially in urban landscapes or in agricultural areas where there's not a lot of oversight in the application of those pesticides. The point being is there is a direct health consequence to not treating your trees well. If you can increase the health and vitality of your trees and their ability to resist disease and death, you are decreasing your costs in terms of your pocketbook as well as your health costs and the cost of health to your family. Alright, I'm going to show you a more egregious example of what years of berming or this volcano mulching will do to plant roots. And then if you have any questions, please contact me. Alright, here's another one. So as you can see here, the roots are definitely cutting each other off. This one's growing around it. This tree is going to, has already shown evidence, you can't really see it this time of year, but when I first got here and saw these trees, they're showing a lot of tip dieback. So these are beautiful cherries. They're the same cherries that are planted in DC. Really amazing trees and beautiful foliage, beautiful spring and fall color. And these guys are tip dying because they're just not being treated well. And like I said, the man who runs this landscape, he loves trees. He takes his son out hiking all the time. So it's a habit that's difficult to break, and I'm hoping that by giving you guys more information, it'll be easier for all of us to break this habit and treat our trees well, our landscapes well, and our communities well. Signing out, Sid Elizabeth.